Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of From White Collar to Blue Collar. My name is Phil and I'll be your host today. So let's get right to it. I want to talk about this saying that you're probably going to hear over and over again, and it's work smarter, not harder. So let me start off by saying that this is an excellent way to think for any job, but especially in blue collar work, where you're constantly being monitored for how efficient you are and how skillful you are. But you're going to hear this possibly when you start out. And you might hear it over and over again. And you might hear it from the same person. You might hear it from different people. And you may hear it because you're probably not doing as great a job as the other more experienced people you're working around, the other people who have been working in the trades for their whole adult life, or maybe even into their childhood, the ones who grew up around the trades, whose fathers were in the trades. And they're telling you, you're making a mistake, you're doing something wrong, you're screwing something up, you're causing everybody to work to fix your mistakes and then to do the job right. You're just causing everybody a lot of time and trouble and stress because you, according to them, are not working smart. And the reason I want to talk about this is because you're starting out, right? You've been working in an office or some other white-collar setting for your whole adult life, or since you graduated college or something like that, or the internships that you had. And now you're in this unfamiliar world, right? Because as I stress, this podcast is not for the people who grew up, whose father was a cabinet maker or something like that, or your dad worked on cars, and you possibly have a second sense for this work. Even somebody like an engineer who's in like something that where the thinking, the mentality is related to blue collar work, thinking about what is the fastest way to, what is the most efficient way to do something, what is the most skillful way to do something. You're none of those things. So how the hell can you know how to work most efficiently? Let's take the example of the table saw, right? That's what I know because I've worked in wood shops. The table saw is one of the most important machines in a wood shop. At a certain point, you're going to have to use it. You just, no matter what the internet or YouTube says, like if you're really going into a cabinet making or any kind of like commercial woodworking, you're not working in the garage anymore of your house. You're going to probably encounter a table saw. This is a very dangerous machine. It is not something to take lightly. It has a spinning blade which can cut off limbs, fingers. It's bad. And at some point you may have to use it. And that may be fairly intimidating. And there's all kinds of ways you can screw up using it when you're not experienced. You can be very nervous using it when you're not experienced. And you may be slow because you're trying to use it right. You're asking questions about how to use it. You want to make sure you're safe. You want to make sure that you're cutting things correctly, that the blade is correct. How are you going to know how to raise the blade, to lower the blade? How much to raise the blade and lower the blade? Whether the blade should be angled? When, how to hold the piece of wood, how to hold the push stick. What is a push stick? For those of you who have not even ever worked in a wood shop, let's say for those of you who are now a mechanic for 5 years, do you know how to do that? Do you know how to use the fence, how to move the fence? So why the hell would you be told to feel that you're not working smart? How is that a valid criticism if you just don't know? So the thing is I want, absolutely, you should work smarter and not harder. It is absolutely a goal. But if it's getting into your head that somebody's telling you this, and you're just really feeling that the problem is not because you don't know how to do something, it's because you're not smart, I don't think that's a valid criticism. And I don't think it's something that people should let sink into their head. Listen, you can't control how people are. It's just a tendency of people. Sometimes they feel good about themselves by bringing somebody down. Maybe they feel like they're an idiot. And by making you, this person who, you were once a lawyer, you were once a scientist, you were once a doctor, and look at you, you're screwing up the table saw. Wow, I'm not so stupid. You're actually the one who's not smart. You don't know how to work smart. You just work hard. You're just a person who just went to college or graduate school or law school, and you don't know how. You're not actually smart, like me, the person who's been doing this my whole life. And the danger is, I think those kind of criticisms, especially when you don't know any better, they can really sink in and bring down what a person thinks of themselves. And then they're not going to think any better the next time they step up to the table saw or whatever machine it is. You may be more hesitant to ask for help. And then because you're hesitant to ask for help, you're going to keep making the same mistakes. You may even put yourself in a dangerous situation. And things are just not going to get any better. And maybe you'll say to yourself, well, I got to be the guy who, I can't be trusted on that. I can't be the person who, I got to be the person who just takes the wood after it's cut by somebody else on the table saw and puts it into a nice little neat pile. I got to be the person who cleans the sawdust out of the table saw, the person who hooks up the dust bag to the table saw, who flips on the switch. And you're not going to get any better. You're not going to improve. And maybe you'll just stay in that position. And then the foreman is going to see that you're still in that position, or the supervisor. And he's not going to give you any tasks because they've already decided that you're not worthy of it. And you don't think you're worthy of it. And then what's going to be your career in this business? You're going to stay at the lowest rung just because some jerk tries to get into your head. Now, maybe his criticism is valid. Maybe you're not working smart. Maybe you're just daydreaming and you're really not working. I mean, I can't know. But I just think if it's really just because, you just keep in mind that there's a lot of things you don't know. This work is very intricate. Some of these trades are very intricate. And no matter what these guys may tell you, they're going to say it's easy and that this is idiot work or whatever, and only idiots do this work. There's a lot that goes into it, especially if you didn't grow up around it and you're not familiar with it. So maybe you aren't working smart. I don't know. But I just maybe keep in mind, if you're going home at the end of the day and you're feeling like you're just an idiot, you're only book smart, you can only just learn things from books. Maybe it's not true. Just maybe nobody showed you how to use it. Because, again, there's a lot to know. I can tell you from woodworking, there's all kinds of machines. There's all kinds of cuts. Let me ask you, those of you who've never worked in woodworking, what's a joiner do? I'm saying to the people, you've just worked in an office, what does a joiner do? You probably don't know. Or you've probably never used one. If I put you on a joiner right now, would you be proficient at it? Would you be proficient at a bandsaw? I think the answer is no. So just something I wanted to put out there. Until the next episode, I'll talk to you guys then.